Hello, this is John Kvale, and this is your August financial planning capital market review. We do this in a fun video, audio podcast. If you're driving down the road, we will give you enough verbiage, but please keep your hands on the wheel and drive safe. I always say that. I have changed my spot of doing the video to where the video hopefully won't be shaky, but I'm casual, so you don't get, I'll save your eyes the sight so you don't get the ugly mug shot here. So I'm going to stay up in the corner like I sometimes do. All right, we're going to make this one. I'm going to keep this. I usually say this. I'm going to keep this short. I'm going to try and really keep this short, but when I hit the high points, a couple of planning tips. We had 2 weeks in a row. We had an unemployment fraud. Basically, what somebody does is they get our Social Security number and our place of employment, and they try and file unemployment on our behalf. I don't know of anyone that has ever been it's ever been caught. And I mentioned in the post, those of you that are driving, I'm hovering over the actual post that we did, that I've had this happen to myself twice. Go figure, I'm filing unemployment on myself. And Donald once. I said, "Hey, Donald, you want to tell me something? Did you stop working?" Anyway, it's being silly, but it does feel invasive. And the most important thing is to make sure that you report to your unemployment agency in the state of Texas, Texas Workforce Commission, that you do not, you're not unemployed, and don't send any unemployment to someone. So I think it's a bit pervasive, and it's interesting that we had this happen just multiple times in a row. So probably running down the list, they got our Social Security number and then found our place of employment. The second planning article that actually just posted earlier this week was about the child tax credit confusion. It's strange. I didn't have my arms completely around it. Those of you that are listening, I posted it here. I had found the best IRS website information that I could, and it was a little bit lengthy. The thing that I would say is if you've never got a child tax credit, and you're getting the advanced child tax credit money right now, I would keep line of sight and expect to potentially have to pay those funds back to the IRS. Again, the post that I've marked here, it goes into all of the IRS's breakdown, and it's quite confusing. I don't even know how they're going to report this to us. So when I find that out, report it as in, are we going to get a tax form that says, hey, we've done that, or do we just, estimate, or I'm not exactly sure. Now, this was absolutely interesting. Those of you that are listening, I've scooted down to the one and only capital market comment, and I got this off of an hour plus podcast, and it's Kyle Bass, and the podcast actually comes from overseas, but Kyle Bass is here locally in Dallas, which is where I'm filming this. I've met Kyle a couple of times. I've heard him before, and we in the post, we actually did some information on some of the things that he had estimated 5 or 6 years ago, all of which came to fruition. It was really a home run. So fingers crossed. I'm hoping that he's right on this. A couple of things that are very interesting that I'll put a little bit more granularity on. One, he doesn't think short-term rates and long-term rates are going to go up very, very much at all. That's very interesting. Two, he thinks the Delta variant, we're going to push through, and we're going to have a true reopening here in the fall. Boy, I hope that's great. Three, something sort of controversial. He said that oil hits $100 a barrel this year. Well, that would be contingent on pushing through and really having an open, a true open. So he does have some other very interesting things, those of you that are in listen only mode. What I did is I listened to this podcast and I just did the bullets, and I didn't reorder them. And unfortunately, I think the last 3 bullets were the most interesting. But he talks about the CPI, Consumer Price Index, not being an accurate measure of inflation. And he does worry a little bit about the cost of food causing inequality problems. I've since started following him on Twitter, and I will tell you what, he's not afraid to speak his mind, and he gets beat up about it. And he said in the podcast, he just finally got to the point where he doesn't care. So some of these may be a little controversial, but it's not my thoughts. I like coding at forecast so that we can go back and check and see. And some of these are really quick. We're $100 oil by the end of the year we don't have very long to wait for that. Okay, so I'm going back up to the top to keep this thing short. And I don't know if I did or not, but I thank you as always for listening, and you have an awesome day. We'll talk to you at the end of the next month. Take care. Bye-bye.